Hello everyone and welcome to Rollin'-ish. I'm Matt, and in this video, I'm going to break down all the features you get, levels 1 through 20, playing a rogue in D&D 5.5e, or the 2024 Player's Handbook. If you haven't done so already, check out our Talking Class playlist. There you're going to find videos like this one breaking down the features, levels 1 through 20 for each class, and a separate video that breaks down their subclasses. The Rogue is one of the more fun classes to play, in my opinion. Rogues tend to be very skilled, and very diverse in what they can do and how they can be used. And you'll see that play out through the build as we look at it. As far as the abilities are concerned, your primary ability is going to be dexterity. You're going to need your speed, you're going to need your fingers, you're going to need to manipulate objects. The hit point die is average at D8. Saving throw proficiencies are going to be in dexterity and intelligence. So it might be worth making intelligence your second highest ability modifier. And it makes sense to me because rogues should be smart. You speak a language thieves can't, that no one else can speak. It's code. You're proficient in many skills, so you should be smart. That's what I would recommend anyway. As far as skill proficiencies go, you get to choose 4 between acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, persuasion, sleight of hand, or stealth. A lot of those are dexterity based, like acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth. You do have a strength-based option in there with athletics, although I wouldn't really put a whole lot of attention into strength because your weapons are mainly dex-based. So there really isn't a point to have that. The athletics bump would be nice though, considering you might climb a roof or jump from roof to roof, something like that. That may require an athletics check, but the rest of these are going to help you lie, help you tell a story, talk your way out of things, or talk someone into doing something. So choosing 4 is very, very big because your chances at succeeding in these are going to be increased because you're going to be proficient in them. As far as weapons are concerned, you can use simple weapons and martial weapons that have the finesse or light property. So you're going to be limited with those. So you have to really take a look at the properties when choosing weapons to make sure that you're using finesse or light when it comes to martial. These things are going to be like a rapier, short sword, things like that. As far as tool proficiencies go, you'll be proficient in thieves' tools. This is a small satchel of little tools that you have that help you pick locks and manipulate certain objects, getting prying things open, stuff like that. As far as armor is concerned, it's light armor only. A lot of times you want to hit and move when it comes to combat so you can continue to benefit from sneak attack and hiding. So it makes sense to wear something light that doesn't make noise, that isn't heavy to keep you mobile. For starting equipment, the first option is leather armor, 2 daggers, a short sword, a short bow, 20 arrows, a quiver, your thieves' tools, and a burglar's pack. Burglar's pack is cool because it comes with things normal other packs won't have, like it has ball bearings for tripping people, a bell if you want to trigger a little trap and you hear a bell ring, you know someone's there, 10 candles, maybe you cover the floor in oil and stick a candle in it and light it and leave. By the time that candle burns down, boom. A crowbar, a hooded lantern, 7 flasks of oil, 5 days of rations, and the standard stuff. So it's pretty cool, very different than what you would normally find. And you get 8 gold. Now you can forego all that, choose option B, get 100 gold, and work with your DM on exactly what you start with. Taking a look at the rogue class feature table, you're going to find at what levels the proficiency bonuses increase, at what levels you get your features. Each one is linked, but we're going to go through each one. And what levels your sneak attack die will increase. This is a special move we're going to learn in level 1. And you can see that at much higher adventuring levels, 10d6 is the highest for your sneak attack, which is extra damage. So let's talk about level 1. The first feature you get is called expertise, where you take 2 skills that you're proficient in. Remember, you just chose 4 at character creation. Choose 2 of those and become an expert in them. This means the proficiency bonus for those 2 skills will double for those checks. If you're having trouble deciding which ones, the book recommends you use sleight of hand and stealth because they're probably going to come up the most. At level 6, you're going to gain expertise in 2 more skills that you are proficient in. So this will grow once during your level 1 through 20 adventuring career. Next is sneak attack. This is the rogue's signature move. Basically, once per turn, you can deal an extra 1d6 damage to a creature that you hit if you have advantage on the attack roll and you're using a finesse or ranged weapon. The damage type is the same as the damage weapon type. Here's the kicker. You don't need advantage if at least one of your allies is within 5 feet of your target. It's basically like they are being distracted and you are sneaking up on them. As long as your ally, who's within 5 feet of your target, isn't incapacitated. They're not a distraction if they're knocked out. And you can't have disadvantage on that attack roll, even if your ally is within 5 feet. Because you're not as sneaky. So there's some other effect that'll hamper this, perhaps, which is good. But you could see that at level 3, it increases to 2d6, at 5, 3d6, at 7, 4d6. Then you get to 5d6 at level 9. And then you can see that every even numbered level, it's going to increase all the way up to 10d6, which you reach at level 19. Also at level 1, you get Thieves' Cant and one language of your choice. Remember, rogues have intelligence. Thieves' Cant is like a special code, usually graffitied or hidden somewhere inconspicuous that really only rogues can read. Sometimes they might give warnings like, hey, the next building over has a bunch of guards in it all the time. Or, the bank across the street has an alarm, right? Like things like that. Where's the hideaway? That's the type of things that Thieves' Cant would be used for. At level 2, you gain Cunning Action. On your turn, you can take one of the following actions as a bonus action: dash, disengage, or hide. All of which is great because dashing, you're a speedy little rogue. That's going to come in handy. Disengage, that is going to allow you to back off at an enemy without taking opportunity attacks. Love it. And hiding is going to help you succeed and gain advantage so you can utilize your sneak attack. At level 3, you pick your rogue subclass. There are 4 of them: the Arcane Trickster, Assassin, Soul Knife, and Thief. There will be a separate video in our Talking Class playlist called 5.5e Rogue Subclasses. There, all those benefits will be broken down for each. Also at level 3, you get a feature called Steady Aim. As a bonus action, you give yourself advantage on the next attack roll on the current turn. So use the bonus action first. You can use this feature only if you have not moved during this turn. And after you use it, your speed becomes 0. You are focusing hard on your target and you're sacrificing your movement to do so. At level 4, this is the fun part: ability score improvement. Now, typically, and in the other class videos, you're going to hear me say that this occurs at level 4, 8, 12, and 16. But as a rogue, you get an extra one more than others. You get another one at level 10. So ability score improvement for you would be at levels 4, 8, 10, 12, and 16. Remember, the ability score improvement is going to be a +2 to 1 of your ability scores of your choice, or a +1 to 2 ability scores of your choice. And keep in mind that when your ability score goes from an odd number to an even number above 10, your modifier will increase. At 10, it's 0, but at 12, it becomes a +1. At 13, it is still a +1. It doesn't become a +2 until 14. So every even number is when your modifier increases. It's good to know that and strategize as you plot out your moves for the ability score improvement. Surely you could forego that and take a feat from Chapter 5. Just check with your DM before you get excited about the feat you want to choose to make sure it's okay. And no, you're not taking an epic boon feat at any of these levels. That comes much, much later. At level 5, you get Cunning Strike. These are new ways to use your sneak attack. When you deal your sneak attack damage, you can add one of the following Cunning Strike effects. Each effect has a die cost, which is the number of sneak attack damage die you must forego to add the effect. You remove the die before rolling, and the effect occurs immediately after the attack's damage is dealt. For example, if you use the poison effect, you're going to sacrifice 1d6 from your sneak attack damage to poison the creature. So, for example, you would force that creature to make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target has the poisoned condition. This means it gets disadvantage on basically everything it does. At the end of each of its turns, the poison creature can repeat the save, ending the effect on itself on a success. So here at level 5, the table says that we have 3d6 sneak attack die. So let's say it's your turn and you take your action to attack, you hit. This is where you stop and say, okay, I have 3d6 of sneak attack. I'm going to roll 2d6 of that sneak attack and use 1d6 to tack on poison or trip or withdrawal, as these are your options at level 5. So you know what poison does. Trip means if the target is large or smaller, it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or fall prone. You could also use withdrawal. Immediately after the attack, you move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks. So by foregoing one of your 3 sneak attack die here at level 5, you still get a little less sneak attack damage that you would have rolled, but you get to add one of these benefits. 2 other things. For the poisoners, one, you must have a poisoner's kit on your person. So make sure it's in your equipment. And if you don't have one, go buy one next time you have a shopping session. You need to have that on your person because how else are you poisoning your blade without a poisoner's kit? Keep that in mind. Also, because this requires a saving throw, and at later levels you're going to get more options. You need to keep in mind that your DC or your difficulty class for these saving throws that your target must complete, that is going to be 8 plus your dexterity modifier, so make it as high as you can, plus your proficiency bonus. So when this poison one says it has to make a constitution saving throw, they have to meet or beat 8 plus your dexterity modifier plus your proficiency bonus. Also at level 5, you get Uncanny Dodge. You can take a reaction to half an attack's damage against you, rounding down. Okay, your reaction, you get one per round, and it refreshes on your turn each time. And you must use it before your next turn. So between your turns, if you get attacked and hit, this could help you half that damage. At level 7, you get Evasion. When you're subjected to an effect that requires you to make a dexterity saving throw, where a success you would only take half damage, and a failure you would take full, Evasion allows you to take no damage on a success and only half damage if you fail the saving throw. Obviously, you can't use this feature if you're incapacitated. Also at level 7, you get a feature called Reliable Talent. Whenever you make an ability check that uses one of your skill or tool proficiencies, not all skills, the ones you are proficient or expert in, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So if you just rolled a 2, you didn't. You rolled a 10. Now add your modifiers. That's pretty cool. That's going to really increase your chances of succeeding on your checks. I love that. Level 11, Improved Cunning Strike. You can use up to 2 Cunning Strikes when you deal sneak attack damage, paying the die cost for each. So at level 5, if you were thinking, hey, can I stack these? At level 5, I've got 3d6 to use. Nope, you can only use 1. That's what that means. At level 11, you get to use a second one. Now, you're going to have to forego whatever the die cost is. But at level 11, your sneak attack die is 66. So you might be able to afford it to use 2 and still do some decent amount of damage. At level 14, Devious Strikes comes into play, and this is what is going to give you more options on the Cunning Strike. This time, you have Daze, Knocked Out, and Obscure. The cost for Daze is 2d6. It's going to make your target need to succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or on its next turn, it can only do one of the following: move, an action, or a bonus action. Just one, and that's it for their turn. Pretty cool, because they're a little out of it. You could forego 6d6 to knock them out. Basically, your target's going to need to succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or it will fall unconscious because you've knocked it out. It'll be knocked out for 1 minute or until it takes any damage. An unconscious target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, which is basically doing nothing, ending the effect on a success. Lastly is Obscure. It'll cost 3d6, and the target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, or it has the blinded condition until the end of its next turn. I like that a lot. At level 15, Slippery Mind. You gain proficiency in the Wisdom and Charisma saving throws. This is in addition to the proficiency you already have in the Dexterity and Intelligence saving throws. So you can see how skilled the rogue is becoming as it grows in higher levels. Always useful to have one of these in your party. At level 18, you get the Elusive feature. No attack roll can have advantage against you unless you are incapacitated. The end. I love that a lot. Any opportunity I can get to grab a boon I'm going to enjoy. And that's really, really cool. It builds up on the, like, pun intended, elusiveness of your rogue. At level 19, this is where you can gain an epic boon feat. Take a look at the feats in Chapter 5. Whatever you're choosing, run it by your DM first, of course. And if you're having trouble deciding which to pick, the book recommends the Boon of the Night Spirit. This is going to allow you to increase one ability score of your choice by 1 up to a max of 30. Max is 20, but some magic items and other effects may allow you to take an ability score higher than 20. This would stack on that. You also get a feature called Merge with Shadows. While in dim light or darkness, you can give yourself the invisible condition as a bonus action. The condition ends on you immediately after you take an action, bonus action, or reaction. I would probably be doing this all the time at level 19 and only really be visible when needed. You will also gain a third benefit, Shadowy Form. While within dim light or darkness, you have resistance to all damage except psychic and radiant. That is huge. That is probably the best boon I've come across so far doing these videos. Boon of the Night Spirit. Okay. Lastly, at level 20, Stroke of Luck. If you fail a d20 test roll, that's any d20 roll, checks, saves, attacks, you can turn the roll into a 20. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. To give yourself a natural 20, you call it, that is extremely strong. And I am a big fan of this. So if you happen to be playing a higher level campaign, I highly recommend you get a rogue in your party. It gets even better when you tack on the subclasses at level 3. If you want to check that out, take a look at the 5.5e Rogue subclasses video and our Talking Class playlist. Please like this, subscribe to our channel. We'd love for these videos to get in front of more people who want a different opinion on D&D or are new players to the game. And yeah, have fun building your rogue. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.